Ubisoft was once a respected game company that made really good games, but now are a not-so-respected company that makes mediocre games. Today, I'm going to find out what happened by going through the company's history and finding the exact moment everything went wrong. Ubisoft was founded in France by 5 brothers, which might I say is very impressive. Not on the brothers' part, but on the mother's part for being crazy enough to have 5 children in the first place. Anyway, it was the year of 1986, and Ubisoft Entertainment SA had just been founded. For a long time, they made pretty weird title games, until they made their first successes with the Rainbow Six games and the Prince of Persia games. The first Rainbow Six game Ubisoft had made was Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Rogue Spear, a game based on a novel by a man named Tom Clancy. This game is a tactical first-person shooter where an anti-terrorist team has been sent out into Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union. This anti-terrorist team being named Team Rainbow. Mad props to Tom Clancy for being so progressive in the year 1999. After the success of this game, naturally, Ubisoft made about 50 more over the span of many years until they eventually ruined that. The Prince of Persia games, on the other hand, didn't have a chance to be ruined, as they were cancelled and turned into another pretty popular franchise. But still, in the Prince of Persia games, you play as, well, the Prince of Persia, who for some reason has incredible parkour skills and is tasked to protect your father, aka the king. The only differences between this game and Assassin's Creed is that this guy isn't wearing a hood and doesn't have a magical blade that can somehow detect when to go out and when not to. Ubisoft got to develop a couple of these games until someone said, wait a minute, we could be making an even better game. And then the exec next to him said, how would we do that? To which the first person said, well, in this game, he'll have a hood on. And so Assassin's Creed was born. Assassin's Creed was released in 2007, followed by almost immediate success. This game followed the story of Desmond Miles, a used-to-be bartender turned slave when he was kidnapped by the Abstergo Corporation. Desmond was then forced to be put into the Animus, where he lives through the memories of his ancestor, Altair ibn La Ahad. I probably butchered that, but in order to get the hidden blade on, Altair had to butcher his own ring finger, so it's a fair trade-off. Anyway, in this game, Altair breaks a rule, so he is stripped of his rank, and he has to go kill a bunch of Templar leaders, only to find out his boss is also evil, and is controlling people in a whole village to get them to kill Altair. His master is doing this with the Apple of Eden, an ancient relic that does stuff. The game ends with Altair killing his leader, so a pretty nice happy point for the series. A couple of filler games later, and Assassin's Creed 2 releases with all of its Renaissance glory. This game has such an amazing soundtrack that even a whiner baby like Desmond would shed a tear or two. In this game, we start with seeing Ezio Auditore da Firenze being born and are prompted to kick our legs and hit with our fists. Fast forward 19 years later and our family is being executed. Why, you might ask? Well, treason, of course. Ezio had plot armor, of course, and survives, and then finds some sick armor his dad had. A visit to a mansion owned by professional killers later, and now Ezio has angered the future Pope. I'm sure this won't end up with a fistfight with the Pope as the end of the game boss fight. Oh wait, this is Assassin's Creed. That's exactly what happens. So yeah, now that Ezio's beaten up the Pope, he sees a vision from a past race that tells him of a mysterious whiner baby named Desmond. Ezio gets confused and probably has a heart attack, and so the game ends. A couple of DS Assassin's Creed games later, and here comes Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in 2010. In this game, Ezio's uncle Mario saves him and immediately dies from a gunshot by the Pope's son. How guns were a thing in the Renaissance era of Rome, I will never know. Eventually, the son of the Pope shoves an apple down the Pope's throat and poisons him. Immediately after, he runs to the countryside where Ezio follows and throws him off a very high-up bridge. One more game later, and in Assassin's Creed 3, Desmond dies, and so does the goodness of the Assassin's Creed series. Many games by Ubisoft have been shown as these graphically enhanced masterpieces, and by release have been bogged down to fit on the system they intended to put it on. The 2 main games by Ubisoft that were downgraded were Rainbow Six Siege and Watch Dogs. Both of these games were shown as having these great-looking graphics with wind systems and great lighting. Here, let me play you a clip from the Watch Dogs trailer and then the actual game. If you found that upsetting, then you fit in with the majority of people who play Ubisoft games. Assassin's Creed games as well became yearly installments that bogged down the quality of the games tremendously, making them buggy and unfun-to-play messes. In one of the most recent bogged down games, we have Rainbow Six Siege, which was another game that was downgraded from the trailer. I'll do the same thing that I did with Watch Dogs and show the trailer and then show some actual gameplay. Ubisoft started out as a great game company that made many great games that are still beloved to this day, but eventually got greedy and started making some pretty bad games. I think the moment Ubisoft started having its downfall was when they started putting fake pre-rendered footage in their advertisements and calling it real gameplay. This, in addition to adding microtransactions in most of their games, just killed off the company. This has been another video with me, and if you liked it, well then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.